Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Unman Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India and the UK sign a free trade agreement. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds talks with his British counterpart in London. India and the UK launch Vision 2035 for a strong partnership in technology, defence, climate, education and people-to-people connect. PM Modi thanks PM Starmer for condemning the Pahalgam terror attack. Both sides sign an FTA called CETA. A plane carrying nearly 50 people, including 5 children, crashes in Russia's Far East. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is on a 2-day visit to the UK, met his British counterpart Keir Starmer. Both leaders reviewed the India-UK Comprehensive Strategic Partnership with a renewed focus under the India-UK Vision 2035. Discussions also focused on the landmark Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement called CETA, Technology Security Initiative, Defence and Security, Energy and Climate, Education and people-to-people ties. They also discussed regional and global issues of mutual interest. The Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement reflects how massively there will be greater access provided to the markets of both countries to either side, and there will be a boost given to bilateral trade. The trade agreement was signed by India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Secretary of State for Business and Trade of the UK, Jonathan Reynolds. The agreement was signed in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his British counterpart Keir Starmer. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended a joint press meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Addressing the joint press statement, PM Modi said that it is a historic moment for both the nations. PM added that after many years of hard work, the Comprehensive Economic Trade Agreement between the two countries has been concluded. PM also highlighted the benefits that FTA deal will yield for both countries.
ये समझौता मात्र आर्थिक साझेदारी नहीं, बल्कि साझा समृद्धि की योजना है। एक और भारतीय टेक्सटाइल, फुटवियर, जेम्स एंड ज्वेलरी, सी फूड और इंजीनियरिंग गुड्स को यूके में बेहतर मार्केट एक्सेस मिलेगा। भारत के एग्रीकल्चर
Let's go across now to a presser by the Ministry of External Affairs in the UK.
To the United Kingdom, Sri Vikram Doordarshan. We also have with us Additional Secretary Europe West in the Ministry of External Affairs, Sri Piyush Srivastava. With that, I invite Foreign Secretary to give opening remarks on the visit. So the floor is yours now.
Thank you, Randir. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you for joining us today for this briefing on Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's official visit to the United Kingdom at the invitation of Prime Minister Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer. Prime Minister is accompanied by a high-level delegation comprising the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, the Commerce and Industries Minister Shri Piyush Goyal, and National Security Advisor Shri Ajit Doval, as well as an official and business delegation. Prime Minister landed in the UK yesterday and received a traditionally warm and festive welcome by representatives of the Indian community in the UK. Earlier this morning, Prime Minister was hosted by Prime Minister Starmer at the Chequers Estate, the official country residence of the Prime Minister of the UK. The two leaders spent nearly 3 hours together this morning, during which they held restricted and delegation-level talks, including over lunch. The two leaders had the opportunity to review the entire gamut of issues in the bilateral relationship and also to discuss regional and global issues of mutual interest. The Prime Minister is scheduled to call on His Majesty King Charles III at Sandringham Estate in a short while from now. At Chequers, as you would all be aware, the highlight and the headline really from this visit was the signing that Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Starmer oversaw of the historic India-UK Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement between the Commerce and Industries Minister, Shri Piyush Goyal, and the UK Secretary of State for Business and Trade, Mr. Jonathan Reynolds. This landmark agreement will significantly increase trade and investment and economic cooperation between the two countries by lowering tariffs in key sectors, including labor-intensive sectors in India like textiles, leather, footwear, agricultural products, marine products, sports products, toys, gems and jewelry, and others. Apart from trade and investment, it would also strengthen innovation and technology collaboration. The two sides have also agreed to negotiate a double contribution convention, which will enter into force along with the free trade agreement and will facilitate professionals and service providers on both sides and reduce the cost of doing business in both countries. Documents related to the agreement are available online, and you may wish to refer to them for further details about the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. In addition, the two leaders also engaged informally with leading CEOs of business enterprises of the two countries. These CEOs represented key and relevant sectors of the respective economies. They were from the fields of health and pharmaceuticals, gems and jewelry, automobiles, energy, manufacturing, telecom, technology, IT, ITES, logistics, textiles, and financial services. All the business leaders expressed great satisfaction at the conclusion of the free trade agreement, which they were confident would unlock several opportunities for businesses in both countries and lead to greater economic collaboration between them. In addition to the free trade agreement, which, as I said, is the headline from this visit, there were other deliverables as well during this visit, and I would just like to highlight 4 of those today. In order to infuse higher ambition and renewed momentum into the comprehensive strategic partnership between the UK and India, both leaders today adopted the India-UK Vision 2035 document, which will steer the relationship for the next 10 years with a focused and time-bound program of action and initiatives in key pillars of bilateral action between the two countries, such as economy and growth, technology and innovation, defense and security, climate action and clean energy, education, and people-to-people ties. The India-UK Vision 2035 will also be available online, and I encourage you to refer to the document for details. Second, both leaders welcomed today the adoption of the Defense Industrial Roadmap, which will open up enormous opportunities for joint collaboration for defense industries of both sides. Third, just this morning, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Central Bureau of Investigation of India and the UK National Crime Agency. And fourthly and finally, both leaders also expressed great happiness at the increasing collaboration in new and emerging technologies between the two countries, particularly telecom, AI, and critical minerals. This is being steered under the Bilateral Technology Security Initiative, the TSI, which incidentally is having its first birthday today. It has completed 1 year. And a statement on the progress of the implementation of the TSI has also been issued by both sides today. The two leaders also discussed the deepening of partnership between India and the UK in the education sector, perhaps one of the most exciting sectors for cooperation in the coming years, and they welcomed the opening in India recently, just last week as a matter of fact, of the campus of the Southampton University in Gurugram. It's the first such foreign university campus to be opened in India under the new education policy of India. And at least five more UK universities are in the process of opening similar campuses in India. Two leaders also acknowledged the valuable contribution of the dynamic Indian diaspora in the United Kingdom, which is a living bridge that connects both our countries. The leaders also had the opportunity to discuss at some length the menace of terrorism. Prime Minister Modi thanked Prime Minister Starmer for the strong support and solidarity extended by the United Kingdom to the people of India in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack. Both leaders expressed a commitment to strengthen the global fight against terrorism. It was noted that extremism and radicalization pose a threat to both societies, and that there was need to further enhance bilateral collaboration and cooperation to deal with these scourges of terrorism, extremism, and radicalization. Prime Minister Modi also sought the UK's cooperation to bring to justice economic offenders and fugitives from Indian law. Finally, I should say, Prime Minister Modi invited Prime Minister Starmer to pay his maiden visit to India as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at his earliest convenience. Prime Minister Starmer has accepted the invitation, and we will now work out the details bilaterally. I mentioned earlier Prime Minister's last engagement in a short while from now at Sandringham Estate. During this engagement, he will hand over to His Majesty the King a sapling as part of the tree plantation program that the Prime Minister has pioneered back home in India, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, Plant for Mother. This will be planted in Sandringham Estate during the planting season this autumn. You would have heard also the Prime Minister speak during the engagement with the media earlier this morning, and in their private conversation as well, the Prime Minister conveyed the condolences to the families of the victims of the Air India air crash recently. Many of them were UK nationals, and the Prime Minister expressed his condolences at the losses that had been suffered. Let me stop there. If there are any questions, I would be happy to answer those.
Floor is open now. As you ask your question, please do identify yourself and your organization. We start with you, Sriram. Yeah, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Foreign Secretary. Sriram Lakshman from The Hindu. I wanted to ask you about the Pahalgam terror attacks. There was a parliamentary delegation here last month hoping to convey India's position and response to those. And I wanted to ask, out of today's meeting, has there been any indication there will be a change in the UK government's response to such situations if they were to recur? Question one. And if I may, a quick question. Was the United States discussed in the Trump administration? Because India and the UK have both been discussing trade with the Trump administration, and there's kind of a retrenchment of the United States under the Trump administration from multilateralism. Does that kind of bring interests of the UK and India closer together? Was that discussed at all?
Mm-hmm. Vishal.
सर, मैं विशाल पांडे हूँ एबीपी न्यूज़ से। मेरा सवाल ये है कि एफटीए होने के बाद, सर इस तरफ, एफटीए होने के बाद भारत की इकॉनमी कितना बूस्टअप करेगी, और जो अलग अलग सेक्टर्स हैं, खासतौर पर कृषि के क्षेत्र में, किन चीज़ों का ध्यान भारत ने रखा है ताकि जो हमारे किसानों की तमाम चीज़ें रही हैं उसे ख्याल में रखा गया एफटीए करते हुए?
Gautam, you have a question?
Gautam from DD India, just wanted to ask, in terms of, congratulations first of all, getting the FTA across the line, especially Mr. Srinivas, and to you itself, just wanted to ask in terms of what other spin-off benefits do you expect, out of this FTA once it comes into effect, where investments are concerned, people-to-people ties are concerned, overall business between the two countries is concerned?
Mm-hmm. Please.
Hi, I'm Rupanjana from Bardhaman and Asian Voice. How will India ensure the free trade agreement is delivering on its intended goals over the time? Will there be a joint review committee or any committees as such?
Mm-hmm. Okay, please go ahead.
Hello, Naomi Canton, Times of India. I'd like to know a bit more about the services sector in the free trade agreement. Which sectors the UK has now got access to and which sectors it hasn't? I understand possibly legal services is not part of it. And will you look at liberalising any future services sectors in the future after this FTA? And also, could you speak a bit about the agreement on tackling organised crime and illegal migration and this agreement between the NCA and the CBI?
Sir, we can take these questions.
Well, I think 80% of the questions are on the FTA, so I will request Satya to answer those. Let me just respond to the first question and then get out of Satya's way. On Pahalgam, we saw a very firm response from the United Kingdom, a condemnation of terrorism. This remains an important subject of discussions between the two sides at all levels. As I mentioned, it was discussed between the Prime Ministers today as well. And I think there is a fair degree of identity of views on the importance of collaboration against what is a global scourge. And there is already close cooperation between India and the UK at multiple levels, the official levels, and between the concerned authorities on law enforcement authorities on the two sides as well. We expect that this will continue in coming times. With regard to discussions related to the United States, look, we are in the UK, we are discussing a free trade agreement between India and the United Kingdom. So you will understand if I say that the focus was on that, fair and square. Naturally, the overall environment globally of world trade was referred to. But on that front, what I would emphasize is that this underlines even more the significance of the India-UK FTA. For an agreement as significant as this to be achieved at this point in time is the really important message to take away from today's events. So that's what I would say on that issue. On this last point, the MOU that's been signed between the CBI and the National Crime Agency of the UK. It is intended to combat instances of corruption, of serious fraud, and organized crime. There has been some cooperation on that. And we are able to now institutionalize this cooperation. Let me turn to Satya to address the questions related to the free trade agreement.
Yeah, free trade agreement, I mean, the CETA, India-UK CETA, first and foremost, it provides a facilitative and a predictable framework. And that's what businesses are looking for. They need certainty, a certainty of tariff regime, a certainty of regulations. I think that's what this legally binding agreement is providing. In terms of sectoral interests, I think it covers a large amount of trade in goods, both agri and non-agri sector. And for all of your information, the agreement is up on the website, so you could have a look at the schedules which are there, and each of the sector analysis. I think quite a few of impact analysis is also being given. In terms of spin-off effects, obviously when businesses are looking for certainty, I think the trade is going to definitely go up. We are looking in terms of doubling of the trade by 2030. And then also it'll rope in investments, because in sectors of the future, and when this certain regime is there, I think investments are going to really go up. There are mechanisms built in terms of joint committees in various chapters, so the policy areas. In terms of, I think we would come with this as it moves. Right now, different sectors of interest, because industry also has expressed interest, and to convert into numbers, I think it will take a little time, because they are also looking in terms of what reductions are there, eliminations immediately or phase reductions. So for their calculations as well, I think they need to look at where the details are available today. So as I mentioned, the joint committees do exist in across the policy areas where they would meet, and then whatever issues in terms of barriers which they see for trade, they would be addressed. Services, I think, is an important area. I mean, it's in terms of both economies are services, largely services dependent. Therefore, here we have deep commitments coming in areas of interest on both sides, whether it is financial services or insurance services, telecom or transport, travel, IT, ITS. I think from our side, IT, ITS is one of the large. So it covers all modes of engagement and aspects of mobility, professional services, other business services. So deep commitments have been made. I think this is the brief from my side. Thanks.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir. Aditi from Press Trust of India. So if you could perhaps elaborate a little bit on the discussion on counterterrorism. Pro-Khalistani extremism was an issue that had been recognized. Is that something that's still on the agenda? Is there a recognition of that as an issue as well? And a second question, if I may, for you, sir, about the DCC, which I think was mentioned will come into force along with the FTA. We were given to understand that at the moment only a legal understanding has been made and the negotiations continue. So if you could just give us a little bit of an elaboration on that. Thank you.
Please.
Hello, my name is Lavina Tandon from India Today and Aaj Tak. In the light of launching the ball between the swing and the miss and the straight bat metaphor, may I just ask, what was the response of Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, on the swift action on Khalistan issue or any such matters of law and order that caused disturbance in both the countries? Economic offenders, what was the response? And also, did the response of India in Pahalgam discussed, and what was the response? Does the Prime Minister or the country stand on our side, or endorses, if I can say? They don't have the right to endorse, but do they stand on our side in any way? Thank you.
Aditya?
सर नमस्कार, मेरा नाम आरेंद्र है, मैं दूरदर्शन न्यूज़ से हूँ। विजन 2035 डॉक्यूमेंट में क्या नया है, थोड़ा सा अगर उस पर विस्तार आप दे सकें, और डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल रोड मैप में क्या विस्तार रहेगा, कैसे इसको ज़मीन पर उतारा जाएगा, इस पर आप थोड़ा सा जानकारी दे सकें।
Please.
Hello, Muvija from Reuters. Sorry, if I may, I just had one question on the US-India trade negotiations. I just wondered if at all an interim deal could be reached by August 1. I know it was a deadline that was set by the Washington administration, but I just wanted to check that. And also one on the UK-India trade deal, which is, so I appreciate that the carbon border adjustment mechanism was not part of the deal, but is it something that the Indian government is still pursuing? Because just after the trade deal is signed and as part of further progress.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Sir?
Okay. Let me go back first to, I think in the earlier set of questions, there was a question on state of cooperation on organized crime and illegal migration that had been referred to. There is between India and the UK an agreement on mobility and migration, which includes cooperation in facilitating the return of undocumented and illegal migrants. This is working well. There have been some innovations on this as well that have been agreed recently, and it's proceeding well. We also have between us a unique young professionals scheme, about 3,000 can travel to each other's country for up to 2 years. And there is also cooperation in simplifying normal travel visas. We have on every occasion that we've had for discussion with our UK counterparts emphasized that the Government of India is clearly against illegal migration, and we have worked in the past and continue to work with our partners on this issue, including for the purpose of repatriating such illegal immigrants. At the same time, we both recognize that the exchange of human resources and access to talent and skilled human resources is an advantage for both economies, and encouraging and promoting that is in the interests of both countries. And some of the agreements and understandings that you see in the process of being reached are aimed precisely at that. On these questions related to the discussions today on extremists and on counterterrorism, as well as economic offenders, let me say with regard to the activities of extremists, we shared our thoughts and views. We've noted the fact that they are increasingly active, have in the past and continue to threaten the safety and security of our diplomatic missions and personnel, inciting violence against our leaders and against our diplomats. This issue was discussed, and we have engaged at several levels on these matters with our UK counterparts. And I would say that we have received cooperation as well on these matters, and including during this specific visit, we have received cooperation from our UK partners on addressing these issues. So I'm sure that this will continue in the future. On terrorism and on economic offenders, I've already mentioned that we've continued to bring our concerns to the attention of UK authorities. As far as economic offenders are concerned, we understand wherever there are legal processes to be entered or to be carried through, we expect that those legal processes will be taken to their conclusion in an expedited manner so that justice can be served. On the defense industrial roadmap, जो आपका प्रश्न था, तो डिफेंस इंडस्ट्रियल रोड मैप एक सहमति दोनों देशों के बीच बनी है जो रक्षा सामग्री है उसके उत्पादन में कैसे दोनों देश एक दूसरे की सहायता कर सकते हैं रक्षा सामग्री और जो उत्कृष्ट तकनीक से बनी रक्षा की सामग्री है उसमें कैसे दोनों देश एक दूसरे की सहायता कर सकते हैं और इसमें प्राइवेट और पब्लिक सेक्टर के जो एंटिटीज़ हैं दोनों देशों में वो कैसे एक दूसरे से जुड़ सकते हैं नए डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजीज़ और प्रोडक्ट्स के उत्पादन के लिए, उनके डिज़ाइन के लिए, उनकी मार्केटिंग और उनके डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए, एक दूसरे के लिए ही नहीं लेकिन पूरे विश्व भर में कैसे उसको उस पर काम किया जा सकता है। और इस रोड मैप से दोनों देशों के बीच जो अभी तक काम चल रहा है उसको और बढ़ावा मिलेगा, और जो एक तरह से इंस्टीट्यूशनल लिंक्स हैं दोनों देशों के बीच वो आगे बढ़ाए जाएंगे। ऑन Vision 2035 as well, Vision 2035 is really built around 4 or 5 major pillars, and then there are a lot of activities that have been planned under that. It's in the areas of economy and trade, technology and innovation, defense and security, climate and energy, education, and people-to-people contact. Several of these subjects were discussed extensively between the two prime ministers today during their restricted talks as well as during lunch as well. For instance, there was a discussion on possible cooperation in the field of space, on startups, in the emerging technologies area, a discussion on AI and telecom, how that could be taken forward. There was a discussion on the priorities, but that is area, discussion on AI and telecom, how that could be taken forward. There was a discussion on the priorities, but that both sides had on technology and innovation, and what both countries were doing in their respective areas on this. On climate and clean energy as well, the kinds of things that were underway. Prime Minister spoke about the fact that some of our renewable energy goals that were set for 2030 had been achieved 5 or 6 years ahead of schedule. Both leaders spoke about the green energy projects that are underway in their respective countries. So this was in a sense, a curtain raiser for the kinds of things that will be progressed under the Vision 2035 document. On the US-India trade deal, I have mentioned earlier, we are discussing that under a different vertical. All I can say is that our engagement is underway, the contacts are underway, and we'll see how that goes.
So, yeah, with regard to DCC Double Contribution Convention, we have arrived at an understanding. That is, the convention would come into effect along with the FTA coming into force. So both would be together implemented. 2, that the exemption period on which this contribution would be exempted is for a period of 3 years. And we also have agreed upon electronic exchange of certification for enabling this. So all the key elements stand, cleared, or clear understanding has emerged on it. And the rest of the part in terms of in the coming year, we would have the text that will be ready, and by the time CETA is ratified, this would be in place. In terms of CBAM, you're aware of a position on CBAM, wherein it is still not in place in UK, it will come in the future. But if we see that it does have an adverse effect, there are enough measures which would be taken, and as and when it comes into play and then we see an adverse effect, we would have appropriate measures to address those concerns.
Thank you, sir. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the close of this press briefing. Thank you very much for your presence.
So that was a briefing by India's Minister of External Affairs in the UK in the context of the talks that have taken place between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his UK counterpart Keir Starmer and the signing of the landmark FTA or a free trade agreement called CETA in the current context between India and the UK. And he spoke of how various issues that are of interest and significance to India, like cross-border terrorism, like the activities of anti-India extremists, like bringing economic offenders to justice were discussed. He spoke about various takeaways from this visit, particularly the FTA, also an MOU that has been exchanged between the two sides between CBI and UK's National Crime Agency. It is intended to combat corruption, serious fraud and organised crime, and some cooperation has been there in this sector is what India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said, but now cooperation will be institutionalized going forward. He also spoke of how the India-UK Vision 2035 document has now been launched in a sense, and this would lead to robust ties across a gamut of sectors, and this builds upon the earlier partnership document that was there between the two sides. Besides that, they also welcomed the adoption of the Defence Industrial Roadmap, and both sides also agreed to cooperate as far as various other new and emerging technology sectors are concerned, like telecom, artificial intelligence and critical minerals, to name a few. So let's move on now. After signing the deal, that is the FTA deal, UK PM Keir Starmer said that the deal will bring huge benefits to both countries. They will boost wages and raise living standards and put more money in the pockets of working people. Listen in.
It's a deal that will bring huge benefits to both of our countries, boosting wages, raising living standards and putting more money in the pockets of working people. It is good for jobs, it is good for business, cutting tariffs and making trade cheaper, quicker and easier.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that the FTA deal with India is the biggest, most economically significant trade deal that the UK has made since leaving the EU.
This is the biggest and most economically significant trade deal that the UK has made since leaving the EU. Thank you, Prime Minister, for your leadership and for your pragmatism. And I'd like to thank everybody who's worked so hard to get this deal over the line.
Starmer also added that a trade deal will provide long-term benefits, with £4.8 billion being added to the UK economy every year as a result of this deal.
It is good for consumers because it will bring down prices on Indian goods in the United Kingdom, like clothes and shoes and food, and it will deliver benefits for the long term. It will add about £4.8 billion to the UK economy every year, and £2.2 billion to wages, and hundreds of millions of pounds to regions and nations up and down the United Kingdom.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer added that the UK wants to further strengthen ties with India, and hence the India-UK vision was also signed alongside the trade deal.
We want to strengthen our relationship further so that it is even more ambitious, modern and focused on the long term, the step up in the relationship that we discussed in the autumn of last year. And that's why, alongside this trade deal, I am delighted that we're building on our partnership by launching our India-UK Vision 2035 strategy, pledging to work more closely on areas such as defence, migration, climate, education and health.
Prime Minister, along with UK PM Keir Starmer, visited an exhibition where products were displayed by Indian businesses based in Britain. English Premier League trophy was also on display at the exhibition. During the visit, PM Modi also met players of Buckinghamshire street cricket hubs Street cricket hubs in the UK offer accessible and inclusive cricket programs, particularly for the young people. The industry has lauded the signing of India-UK FTA. Speaking with DD India, Chairman of Vedanta, Anil Agarwal, said that this is a great achievement between Britain and India as they work down the progressive path. He further added that the deal will boost economic activity and create many more jobs.
Signing FTA is a great achievement between Britain and India. Lot of hard work has gone. I congratulate Prime Minister Stammer and our Prime Minister Modi and his team to achieve this milestone. It was not an easy job. Both countries has worked very hard. This will help both the country to increase the trade at least by $20 billion. Phenomenal job opportunity will come for both the country. India has a huge potential for back office, data center, development. UK will be the best partner for them. And this FTA will help both the countries. Thank you.
The Confederation of Indian Industry, or CII, has welcomed the India-UK FTA, or Free Trade Agreement, as a transformational milestone in bilateral economic relations. Founder and Chairman of Bharti Enterprises and co-chair of the India-UK CEO Forum, Sunil Bharti Mittal, said Indian industry across all sectors welcomes the India-UK FTA with great optimism. This agreement establishes a modern, forward-looking partnership that will stimulate innovation, ease market access and foster investment. Businesses in India as well as the UK stand to gain tremendously as it lays the groundwork for scaling up bilateral cooperation across key growth sectors. The Director General of CII, Chandrajit Banerjee, said CII has been a long-standing advocate for a comprehensive and forward-looking India-UK FTA. This FTA marks a defining moment in our bilateral relationship, reflecting a shared commitment to inclusive growth, economic resilience and industrial transformation. It creates a strong foundation for deeper market access, regulatory cooperation and next-generation partnerships between Indian and UK businesses. Moving on now, in a statement delivered during a UNSC quarterly open debate on the situation in West Asia, India asserted that a ceasefire must be put in place and all hostages must be released. Speaking at the debate, India's permanent representative to the UN, Ambassador P. Harish, noted that dialogue and diplomacy remain the most viable paths to achieving these objectives. He emphasized that intermittent pauses in hostilities are not enough to address the scale of humanitarian challenges confronting the region's people.
Today's meeting takes place against the backdrop of a persisting humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Intermittent pauses in hostilities are not enough to address the scale of humanitarian challenges confronting the people who grapple daily with acute shortages of food and fuel, inadequate medical services and lack of access to education. The way ahead is clear and India has been consistent in this regard. The ongoing human suffering must not be allowed to continue. Humanitarian assistance needs to be facilitated in a safe, sustained and timely manner. There is no substitute to peace. A ceasefire must be put in place. All hostages must be released. Dialogue and diplomacy remain the only viable paths to achieving these objectives. There are no other fixes or solutions. In conclusion, India underscores its readiness to contribute to efforts that are aimed at shaping a political horizon that restores hope for the Palestinians and achieving sustained peace in the Middle East.
India is making waves in deep-sea exploration with the Samudrayan project, a flagship initiative under the Deep Ocean Mission. This ambitious program aims to unlock the ocean's vast resources and position India as a global leader in marine science.
Launched in 2021 by the Ministry of Earth Sciences, the Samudrayan project is India's exciting plan to explore the deep ocean. With a budget of over 4,000 crore until 2026, around 225 crore have already been used to make big discoveries. The star of the project is Matsya 6000, a special submarine that will take people 6,000 meters below the sea. There's also a robot called the Ocean Mineral Explorer, or OME 6000, which dives deep to map the ocean floor. In December 2022, the OME 6000 explored a huge area in the central Indian Ocean, going as deep as 5,271 meters. Using high-tech cameras, it took pictures of a smaller area to find valuable minerals called manganese nodules and amazing sea creatures. This project is helping India learn how to use ocean resources wisely. Working with experts from India and Norway, the mission is putting India on the map as a leader in ocean exploration. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on DD India Live. At least 10 people, including several civilians, reported killed in clashes between Thai and Cambodian troops in a border dispute. Chinese President Xi Jinping calls for deeper trust between China and the European Union as both sides meet in Beijing. Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse. Is the United States China's debt trap strategy? Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. Thailand launched airstrikes on Cambodian military targets on Thursday as Cambodia fired rockets and artillery, killing at least 11 civilians in a dramatic escalation of a long-running border row between the two neighbors. The neighbors are locked in a bitter spat over an area known as the Emerald Triangle, where the borders of both countries and Laos meet, and which is home to several ancient temples. Vowing to retaliate, Thai Foreign Ministry spokesperson Nikorn Dej Balungkora said that Cambodia's attack targeted a military base and civilian areas.
On the morning of 24th July 2025, heavy artillery was fired into the Thai military base and continued throughout the morning. The attacks also targeted Thai civilian areas, including a hospital, resulting in civilian casualties and fatalities. The Royal Thai government is prepared to intensify our self-defense measures if Cambodia persists in its armed aggression and violations upon Thailand's sovereignty in accordance with international law and principles.
Thai authorities also announced the closure of all border points with Cambodia. Rear Admiral Surasant Kongsiri said that Thailand escalated the security measures along the border from level 2, which only restricts the crossing borders of the people and the period of time that they can cross, to level 4, which involves the complete closure of all border checkpoints along the Thai-Cambodian border.
Since the situation has escalated, we felt obligated and compelled that the ad hoc center has to escalate the security measures along the border from level 2, which only restrict the crossing borders of the people and the time or the period of time that they can cross. Now we have escalated the measures to level 4, which involves the complete closure of all border checkpoints along the Thai-Cambodian border.
Meanwhile, Thailand's neighboring nation Malaysia has called on Thailand and Cambodia to stand down following deadly border clashes. Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim urged the two Southeast Asian neighbors to enter into negotiation. The conflict blazed up on Thursday, with Cambodia firing rockets and artillery shells into Thailand and the Thai military scrambling F-16 jets to carry out airstrikes. A devastating plane crash occurred in Russia's Far East on Thursday, involving an Antonov AN-24 aircraft operated by Angara Airlines. The plane was carrying 49 people, and as initial information suggests, everyone on board was killed. The burning fuselage of the plane, which was from the Soviet era and was nearly 50 years old, was spotted on the ground by a helicopter, and rescue crews were rushing to the scene. The helicopter saw no evidence of survivors from above. The plane was on a domestic flight from Blagoveshchensk to Tinda and dropped off radar screens while approaching Tinda, a remote town in the Amur region bordering China. Authorities have launched an investigation into the crash. Chinese President Xi Jinping called for deeper trust between China and the European Union in a turbulent world as top EU leaders met in Beijing for a high-stakes summit on Thursday. Despite the ceremonial tone meant to commemorate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations, the meeting underscored growing tensions between the bloc and Beijing. EU representatives raised concerns over China's trade practices, citing fears that an influx of cheap subsidized goods could flood European markets and hurt local industries.
Europe has always believed in the power of free trade to drive prosperity, and that competition has to be fair. We know that our trade relationship today needs more balance. Rebalancing is a necessity, and it is also in the interest of a stronger relationship between us.
While President Xi positioned China as a stable and reliable global partner, implicitly contrasting it with the United States, EU leaders urged concrete steps to resolve the mounting challenges.
As long as we both firmly practice multilateralism, the trend towards a multipolar world will continue to strengthen. I am fully confident about this. This morning, President Xi Jinping held a meeting with the two presidents, where the two sides reached an important consensus about further deepening China-EU relations.
Tokyo was abuzz with the vibrant colors and sounds of India today as the Indian Embassy hosted an unprecedented cultural marathon called India, that is Bharat 2025, celebrating Amrit Kal. It was none less than a cultural Mahakumbh, a nod to India's grandest pilgrimage. This 750-minute extravaganza showcased the rich tapestry of Indian arts and heritage in Japan. From classical dance forms like Bharatnatyam, Odissi, Kathak, mesmerizing musical renditions, to regional art forms, the Indian ambassador to Japan, His Excellency C.B. George, spoke passionately about the event's significance.
We see an India connection. I attribute it to two main reasons. One, the strength of our civilization and our diverse culture. India is one of the oldest, largest, and perhaps among the very few continuous major civilizations in the world. India, that is Bharat, is a nation of unity in diversity. This diversity is our strength. Every diverse culture in India flourishes. Every religion and region in India flourishes.
The event drew a large and enthusiastic crowd, including many Japanese participants eager to experience Indian culture firsthand.
So it was an amazing experience being a part of this cultural exchange, and then the idea of having 24 hours all straight on a cultural performance. I think it was amazing. I'm so grateful to be part of it, and I much appreciate for the Vivekananda Cultural Center to hosting it.
Thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity for me. And Kathak is very beautiful art for me, and I really love it. And thank you for having me.
That's it then in this edition of DD India Live. Do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munmin Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.